One final chance to make it into the round of 16. Let's see if he can pull it off.
Why are you getting all the tweets about the doubler effect? I'm not getting any.
Because I'm the clown that keeps calling it the wrong thing.
Well, I'm the one who brought it up.
It was definitely Roddy's invention. the Doppler effect is.
You know, the doubler effect today will just be rewritten in history, as Goswser would be the first North American to qualify for the WCS Premier League round of 16 Season 3.
America. Wait, you said North American, so that makes sense. Never mind. I agree with you, Kev.
There's definitely a chance that someone will join him. Eventually, other people will join him. But yes, Goswser would be the first North American to make it. On the other end, MacSed would be the first Chinese player to make it to the round of 16 this season. Of course, he was there last season. He even made it to the round of 8. It was a lot of fun to follow MacSed. It was a lot of fun having him here. I'm kind of sad to think that MacSed might have to make the trip without Jim, though. I kind of feel like they're...
Maybe Jim will come anyway, as his coach.
Travel buddy.
Motivational buddy.
I think that's Edison's job.
Edison's awesome. Good old Edison.
Both simulators being dropped right now.
Kev, it all comes down to this. Goswser once again getting the early pool. Once again, it's gateway first for MacSed. Does he always get his double gas this fast?
Yep.
Or is it, okay.
He does, man.
Okay.
And then he just put 2 probes on each. Doesn't take 3 because that's a small reaction. Goswser playing it safe with his pool before hatch. As we know, Mike is a pretty safe guy.
Man, Mike really narrowly securing victory in that last game after...
Playing a little bit with fire, like all those roaches, it was cool, and he definitely did damage. He reset the Colossus count, so he basically set himself up for that second attack to be more successful with that first attack. But, you know, it was risky, but then again, champions take risk. Jaedong just keeps 6-pooling when it truly matters and keeps winning.
Remember MC on stage at Gamescom 2 years ago?
Against Mana on Metalopolis. That was probably the most beautiful gamble that I've ever seen in StarCraft.
He said to be champion, you need to be good, but you also need to be lucky. And to be lucky, you have to be willing to take risks. Otherwise...
much quicker gas for Goswser this game though than he did on the Whirlwind and stuff. Not super quick, not as quick as Belcher Vestige guys, but a little bit quicker. So probably just going to get Speedlings out very early on and secure himself a little bit of map control and see what he can do with it. I can't really imagine anything other than that. Right, Ben?
I think you're right, but he is still mining gas.
Right. You think Roachling again?
It's not out of the question.
But this doesn't seem like a fantastic map for Roachling, and for the same reason as I mentioned before, this is not Whirlwind. The moment a photon overcharge will go down for MacSed, it will protect these gateways, and that is what's so important. And that is something that doesn't happen on Whirlwind because the ramp is pretty far away.
I think Goswser has a bit of a, I guess, bad feeling of this map. Is that a fair way to say it? He doesn't like Frost. So
you know he doesn't, or is just guessing?
I think I was talking with him about it yesterday. It was either Frost or Yansu. I know he hates Yansu.
Okay.
But I feel like he hates Frost. I'm not sure.
You know, it's a very similar scenario to what we saw in Whirlwind.
It's definitely Roach Speedling.
Roach Speed against the 3-gate fast expand after, gateway expand for MacSed. But once more, the big difference is the Photon Overcharge is going to keep these units alive. If it's a crazy amount of units, you know, Photon Overcharge is fantastic, but Zerg might be able to throw so many units across the map that not even Photon Overcharge can do this. But this time, but also very important, the Stargate is not part of the wall, the Stargate is behind it. So if he needs those 2-3 extra seconds to keep these gateway units alive, the Voider will spawn regardless, and it changes everything. It's not a Voider yet, it's a Phoenix, but that was the same last time. This is a mirror image of Whirlwind, but then it's a different map.
Such a calculated all-in. 21 drones, he mined exactly 300 gas, that's enough for Zergling speed and 8 roaches. This is all or nothing.
It's an interesting little pickup there. Second is Simulator going down, Forge going down as well. That Forge might come into play eventually. You know, Ben, I think MacSed will be able to hold this time. And we saw how good his crisis management is on Belcher Vestige. I was so blown away by everything he did on Belcher against that Speedling. Goswser is going to lose his Overlord that will supply block him, but he pretty much has all of the units out on the map already that he wants. MacSed is still unaware of it, but he's going to see it right now.
Okay, here come the first lings. They're going to get through. Void Ray is going to start immediately.
Where's Photon Overcharge?
It's coming. It is here. And there we go. Photon Overcharge goes down. Lings are going to start squeezing through.
He could have made an extra sentry, in my opinion. He's still doing it. He still has 2 gateways remaining, so he's going to try to rebuild the wall once more. I think that is a full wall for now.
Oh, but Goswser's going to get through, and now the question becomes, can the Photon Overcharge do enough work? I think it can, Kev. These units from Goswser are dying very quickly, but reinforcing Zerglings constantly streaming across the map. He's going to focus the Nexus. Oh, this might be a mistake. Maybe going to the main was a better idea. We'll have to see. Nexus down to just half of its health, but I don't feel like Goswser has enough units here. 26 more Zerglings are in production, but the wall's going to be rebuilt, and MacSed has held.
Again. Wow, when he was focusing the Nexus, when you said, I don't think it's going to be a good idea, I thought he was going to be able to take it down, because the Void Ray was shooting at the Lynx for a little while, but then he switched targets, and then he started to go for the Roaches. Here come all those Lynx. MacSed needs sentries. He still has 1 gate active. He could make cannons as well. 2nd Photon Overcharge casters, by the way. You're going to need sentries, MacSed. That's not enough. It's going to be too big of a hole, I think. Well, so many Zerglings have died already. It's okay.
That's it, man. That is going to do it, I fear. For Goswser, now 10 drones on the way. It's 35 drones to 35 probes.
But once more, it's the same scenario as we mentioned before. There's absolutely no follow-up tech for Goswser. He's back to mining gas right now. It's going to take a little while before the layer comes into play. He's going to have to worry about these Void Rays, man. These Void Rays can start flying across the map. There are not that many Queens out right now.
Just 2.
Like 3 Void Rays and a Mothership Core. And actually one of the hatcheries is being upgraded to layer right now. If those Void Rays fly across the map, man.
Well, it's so hard to send them though, dude. Like, you don't know if there's 20 more Lings on the way. Now they're going to go.
Spore Crawler is very, very smart. I like that a lot.
And I wonder how... I guess he's just going to try to recreate Belshir Vestige, see if he can run around and make openings. It's going to be very hard. This is... it's not an impossible situation for Goswser, but... Oh, Mountain.
Look at all these sentries as well. They're going to create one hell of a scary follow-up push. And I actually think that MacSed might just going to do it right now. He has quite a few gateways out on the map. He's researching +1 as well. He has 45 probes. That's more than enough for a good gateway all-in. So we've been talking about it all day. This is a crazy scenario. Not the opening scenario I expected. But he's still going to bust it out eventually. It's going to be hard to hold for Mike.
He's got 6 gates.
You know, looking at that hold once more, man, there was one force field. I have no idea where it came from. It felt like it fell from sky because I couldn't see which sentry it casted. And I really thought now a crazy amount of units will stream through.
It was Jim.
It was Jim dropping a force field from heaven for MacSed, but that's almost how it felt. It's a full wall of these Lings, won't be able to squeeze in. Might force 1 or 2 defensive weapons, but dear God, this Protoss army, man, is 9 Roaches on the way, Spine Crawlers and Spore Crawlers. Spores are very good against the Void Rays. Not over yet. Robotics facility being wiped in right now. It seems like MacSed...
Suddenly, MacSed's walled himself in, so this is an attack that now has to do damage. Goswser's going to follow this up with Infestation Pit. Good use of his Speedlings.
MacSed is not going to commit to this, man. He saw this and he's like, you know what? I'm not going to do it, because that's why I dropped the Robo at home. He's going to go back to rolling probes. I mean, it's still 2 base against 2 base, which is normally, you know, pretty okay scenario for Protoss.
Yeah, but until MacSed breaks out of that wall, he can't expand, so... I mean, certainly Goswser's still in a terrible position. It's 82 supply to 103. Army supply, MacSed leads, and Force Field is going to be just, so painful to deal with.
Vanishing Lens being researched right now. I mean, we've seen earlier today Goswser having a miraculous engagement on Belshir.
Yep.
Where he absolutely crushed the army of MacSed, despite MacSed
seemingly invincible army.
And severely outmining him throughout the entire game, and that's something, you know, that might be going on once more. Or maybe MacSed is just going to stay on 2 bases for as long as Goswser is on 2 bases, and then he's going to be like, I'm going to make a Colossus push. Because Goswser is going to need a lot of time to get a similar army. And actually, we see Nexus going down. Funny position, I would have expected it to be here. You know? With Speed Roaches, you can definitely swing around a lot and be as annoying as possible, but...
5 Infestors about to spawn for Goswser. That will help his position, but it is not going to solve it. He's going to need his own 3rd base. He's working on it. This drone is trying to get past the Roaches, but they are very rudely blocking his path.
A lot of pylons were still scattered around the map, but we can see Goswser cleaning them up. Still though, Ben, still, is he going to get the time to eventually even get those You know, nah, he's not going to do anything similar like that. So I don't know why I'm even thinking about that, because we see Roach Speed being on the way. So it's just going to be like Roach Corruptor. I mean, Roach Infestor, no Spire going down yet. Hive is on the way right now. But it's not like you want to make Ultras when you don't have any upgrades at all and your army is mostly Roaches and you're focusing on Roach attacks. So it's probably going to be Vipers, Roach. Yeah, man, that's such a hard army to control. Yeah. Roach, Infestor, Viper. God, I don't even want to think about it.
It has to be Viper. He's got to have some way to answer for the Colossi, the Immortals, even the Void Rays. But
the Infestors are the answer to the Void Rays, I guess. And the Roaches are the answer to everything else. You know, you might as well.
Tough spot, man. Very tough spot. I think what we're going to see here from MacSed is he's going to continue building up. Probably will push around 170, 180 supply. He might even just max. But for now, we wait. Colossi and Void Rays in production. Blink. Excellent upgrades for Protoss. And excellent scouting. Constant Phoenix Scout. Constant Hallucinated Phoenix Scout, I should say.
Hive Tech is about to finish. Obviously, the Hydralisk then in production as well, so that one will be done, morphing soon. So eventually, Goswser could try to make his army a little stronger with a few Hydras here and there. Above all, he's really, really going to need the Vipers, otherwise he's not going to be able to, as you mentioned before, get in range of Colossus, or even pulling in Immortals against this very, very heavy Roach army is of course fantastic. Otherwise, he's not going to get close to them. You know, Ben, it is definitely possible. They're very even in work. It's 63 against 63. MacSed is moving out right now. He is up 30 supply, and if anything, it should almost be the other way around. But with Vipers, you know, if this was Wings of Liberty, this is absolutely game over. There's just no way that this army is going to die against the army of... Well, Wings of Liberty had better infestors, but still, the Vipers, they pose a small threat to this very, very strong army of MacSed.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Vipers are an incredible equalizer. If you can remove Colossi from this fight, then it's a lot closer.
Yep, because then Hydralisk.
If you can remove Colossi and Immortals from the fight, then it's very close. And
if you can fungal all the Void Rays and keep fungaling them to death, you're in a fantastic position.
And now the other side of this coin is how incredibly difficult it is to control multiple spellcasters. You know this as a Protoss player.
And we shouldn't forget that there is Blink on the map. Blink is extremely important right now. It's going to make it a lot harder for Vipers to get those massive abducts that they're obviously looking for. See +3 being researched for MacSed as well. I mean, one drone is just going to go south. Fort basically enough for MacSed, so I do think that he's going to drop a Templar Archives really soon as well. And the moment he drops Templar Archives, he can get a couple of High Templars out on the map. We see a little bit of Warp Prism harassment as well.
This is going to be so hard to deal with. There's no spines here. Goswser has no choice but to send some units back to deal with this. And that's exactly what we're going to see him doing. But not before losing a handful of drones and mostly just being frustrated. Meanwhile, what is this little push? Oh, a couple of Stalkers are going to get caught.
That's like
this is a huge catch.
Fungal
this is a massive catch here for Goswser. It's going to save him a little bit of headache. It's also going to cost him a lot of bit of energy.
But he will be able to kill them all. You see, kind of like the setup of a start of a pool, you know? That's how the Stalkers were. That was their formation. I could almost see, how do you call this thing that keeps the balls in place?
It's a rack.
I could almost see the rack around the Stalker.
The billiards rack. Mm-hmm. So with that, Goswser is going to max out, which is something I never thought we'd actually see. He's a maxed out Zerg player, and this gives him a chance, Kevin. This means that anything is actually possible. And this time, instead of Ultras, he's got Vipers.
He's a maxed out Zerg player, soon to be +2 upgrades. A lot of Infestors with Fungo and a couple of Vipers with Abduct. This is, you know, it's not as good as Belshir Vestige, but this is still a very, very scary army. If MacSed loses these Colossus, he's going to have a nightmare dealing with his army.
This is perhaps the push that wins the day. Goswser has got to execute this perfectly. Oh, that Zealot just went for the ride of his life. A Colossus gets grabbed as well. Blinding Cloud lands on top of a fungal Protoss army. This is not possible, is it? Goswser at 180 supply against 160. Infested Terrans are going to go down. The Blinding Cloud will expire, and MacSed he's going to hold.
Yeah, a few Colossus stayed alive, and that is so important for MacSed. He kept those Colossus alive. The Blinding Clouds were really cool, but MacSed puts himself in a very good position. His army wasn't nearly as clumped up as it was back then on Belshir, and he will survive with enough units. Of course, he had a lot of reinforcements being warped in during this fight as well. He's on a almost 4-base economy. great hold by MacSed, because that was a pretty scary army. And if that would have gone a little worse, if that one abduct instead of being on that Zealot, which was pretty cool, you don't see Zealots flying through the air every single day. But if that would have been on the Colossus, everything would have been different.
That could have been a very different outcome. There's still a Warp Prism in Goswser's base. MacSed, for now, seems to have forgotten about it. That's good news for Goswser because he is in no way equipped to deal with it at the moment. Both players trying to remax. Goswser at 173 supply, MacSed at 180. Significant worker lead for MacSed, 70 to 61. It was 58 a second ago. So Goswser definitely not in the best shape economically. There's that warp in the main base. 5 Zealots.
Dark Shrine finished up as well. I'm not sure.
And it's doing work already down here at the bottom of the map. This is Goswser's 4th base, and there's no detection there. And that is a very frustrating situation indeed. Means he's going to lose this hatchery.
At the same time, he's going to lose the Spore Crawlers over here in his main as well. At least I thought he was going to be, but nope. Zealot's going to change their mind, chase down a couple of Roaches and Hydras. You know, eventually, when the more time MacSed is going to give Goswser, he might be able to get a similar army once more, but the next time, MacSed's army is going to be way stronger. It's not just the Colossus that he's going to have to worry about. He's going to have to worry about a couple of High Templars with perhaps Storm soon as well. Of course, Dark Templars will be there, so he has to be really careful with Overseers. It is going to be a lot harder. The last time MacSed was maxed out too, but, you know, without the Colossus, that army wasn't that terrifying. Sure, Void Rays, you know, they're kind of scary for your Roaches. But there were a lot of very simple gateway units without massive upgrades or anything. Next time, that is not going to be the same.
Goswser is once again maxed. And it's not an easy fight at all, but it's not an impossible fight. Upgrade-wise, Protoss is enjoying a very big lead.
Because he has less drones, he does have a slightly bigger army supply. But I'm really worried about all these High Templars, man. There's going to be quite a few storms, and it will be so hard for Goswser to pull in units or even be able to keep fungling an army while he has to worry about all these storms raining on top of his army as well.
DT is once again going to deny the expansion attempts of Goswser. That's very frustrating. Makes it harder for him to remax. Couple of feedbacks going down on Infestors. Good fungals, though, on the Void Rays. And if we... Oh, man, huge feedbacks all over the Vipers, but not before they pull 2 of these Colossi. It looks so like... Oh, man, MacSed's just got way too much. The Warp-In reinforcement is going to seal the deal, and Goswser will tap out after brilliantly fighting through 3 arduous battles. MacSed